politics. Informative, educative, and analytical. Getting to the real issues that affect an ordinary individual in areas of leadership, governance, social, and economy. The truth, the lies, and politics.
See, it's been lively, and it is lively this evening, and delighted to have you on The Truth, Lies, and Politics here on Speed TV. My name is Paul Eki, and this is a dynamic space where ideas collide, opinions ignite, and perspectives are challenged across the table. I do invite you to a space where we do, allow
the truth, the lies, and politics. Informative, educative, and analytical. Getting to the real issues that affect an ordinary individual in areas of leadership, governance, social, and economy. The truth, the lies, and
The Truth, Lies, and Politics here on Speed TV. My name is Paul Eki, and this is a dynamic space where opinions ignite and perspectives are challenged. Ideas collide, and we do express our opinion with divergent views across the table. But also you and I can narrow the gap in society, in our communities, by sharing the different perspectives and accommodating one another. I do invite you to the place where the conversation begins, but also, in case you'd like to be a part of this conversation, get to our socials at Spirit TV UG, and that is on X, formerly Twitter, on YouTube, and on Facebook. You can leave a comment there if you'd like to be a part of the conversation, and later on we'll be able to open up our phone lines and take in your thoughts and your suggestion. But before I do introduce the guests in studio this evening, there's a simple message that I would like to leave with you. Every election season, the media steps into the spotlight, tasked with informing the public, verifying facts, and preventing chaos in the age of viral misinformation. But in Uganda's 2025 campaign period, that vital role is under intense pressure. The tightened legal restrictions and intimidation, the censorship and outright violence, media rights and freedoms are facing some other tough challenges. And as we edge closer to the 2026 general elections, one question grows louder. Can Ugandans trust the information they receive? Tonight, on The Truth, Lies, and Politics, we dive into the state of press freedom during this heated campaign period. What's really happening on ground? Why are journalists being targeted? And what must change before and after election day to protect the integrity of our democracy? Our insightful panel is here to break it down, separate truth from manipulation, and examine the future of the Fourth Estate in Uganda. Only on Spirit TV. Stay informed, stay engaged. All right, and I do welcome you back to The Truth, Lies, and Politics. My name is Paul Eki. Now, Uganda is heading towards the 2026 general elections, and it's a season where truth becomes slippery, power becomes sensitive, and the media becomes both a megaphone and a target. In this country, the election years have a way of testing everyone. The journalist with the microphone, the activist with a tweet, and the lawyer fighting in court, and even the ordinary citizen simply asking what is really going on. We've seen this before, and we're wondering whether we'll see it again. You know, in 2021, if you look back, cameras were smashed, reporters beaten, stations warned, signals switched off, and social media silenced for days. And also the introduction of the different laws, and that indeed silenced some voices. The Computer Misuse Act, the Communications Act, and the Anti-Terrorism Act also were part of that. But we are back at it, and the conversation still goes on. Are we in the cycle? And so tonight we cut through the fear and the fog. Is the media free? Those are the questions that we will ask. Can the media still put the powers that be to account? Right? And to help us dissect this conversation, we have right on my immediate left is Counsel Samuel Wanda. He's a human rights lawyer defending the constitutional freedoms the media depends on. We also have Mr. Charles Romshana, who is a political analyst and a former intelligence officer, a man who understands power from the inside. We also have a lady on the team. It's been a long time having a lady on the team. That is Judith Atim, who is a journalist and the head of programs at CCG. And she's fighting on the front lines of the newsrooms every single day. My dear panelists and guests, I'm happy to have you this evening. Before I jump into a quick 2 minutes question about the presidential debate, your thoughts on the presidential debate. Charles, I'll give you a moment to greet, and you have your signature way of greeting.
The Almighty God of all creation is great and exceedingly merciful. Psalm 70, verse 4. You said a T? Because there is a big difference between a T and O. Between a and O.
Charles, a team, yes.
Can you reinforce my security?
Yourself.
So the message I have for you today is the interesting story of Joseph. How you followed the envy between Joseph and the envy the brothers had of Joseph, how they drop him in the same pit, and now he ends in Egypt. It's a long story, but he's elevated because of grace. He interprets a dream and is elevated to prime minister. And out of that deployment, abundance of food is reunited with the family. And the family shifts, and the descendants are too many in Egypt. So I should say, the descendants we have in Egypt of Joseph are the descendants of a prime minister. Right? A prime minister because of grace.
Yes.
In other words, the Pharaoh witnessed grace through Joseph and elevated him to prime minister and welcomed Joseph's brothers and family.
Yes.
And the descendants became too many. So when did they become slaves?
In Egypt again.
Yes. Because you see, when did the descendants of the prime minister
Become
the prime minister out of grace become slaves? How come that the descendants of the Pharaoh, because we've seen that the ancestor saw grace, how come the descendants of the Pharaoh did not see grace, to the point that they even took a decision to kill firstborns? How come that mind that saw grace turns extremely very evil, as even to kill firstborns? And how come that the Pharaoh, the ancestor, learned from Joseph and prepared, but the descendant of Joseph in Moses, the other descendant couldn't easily appreciate. So that's the challenge we have. What messages, what knowledge do we leave for our descendants? What values do we leave for our descendants?
Right.
And that's why we normally fail.
Okay.
We normally fail. In other words, if you want to leave for a descendant what you've stolen on earth, be sure somebody else will also steal from your descendants.
Yeah.
But wow. You see how sin comes in and distorts everything.
Yes.
And they indeed perished because it was not possible to save them.
Thank you. Powerful message there. What information, what values, what system, what are you leaving for your defendants? And that starts, if it could start yesterday and you didn't do it, you started today. Thank you very much, Charles, for that. I will move to quickly Judith. And I hope you can use 2 minutes before we get into our main conversation of the evening. What did you make of the presidential debate that was held on Sunday?
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Paul. And thank you to my wonderful co-panelists, Mr. Charles Romushana here and Council Monday. So I watched the debate, but I didn't sit and watch it through its entirety, okay? So I was in and out, okay? But what I picked, first of all, I'd like to say, after 2016 and having a conversation with presidential candidates, it was quite refreshing for me. It was really refreshing to have all these presidential hopefuls gather under one roof, sit on one podium, except, of course, the 3 who didn't show up.
Yes.
I would have loved very much to have all the 8 candidates actually sit and sell their manifestos, sell their ideas and visions for Uganda for the next 5 years. Nonetheless, the 5 who showed up, I think, gave us at least an understanding of what their thought processes are, what their dreams, their hopes and aspirations for Ugandans are.
Yes.
By and large, their dreams for Ugandans are the same things. They're basically rallying around the same themes, unemployment, improving better conditions for all Ugandans, defense and security. The themes are pretty much the same. The approaches might be different.
Yes.
But I'm not going to go into which candidate I think I score most.
Yeah.
But for me, I think that debate, if we are to have, and I do hope we have another debate before we go into elections,
yes,
I am very sure it will certainly alter or shift how Ugandans vote to some degree.
Right.
I could be wrong, but that is, yes, it was widely watched. But if you have a debate like that in January towards elections, I think it gives people time to sit and reflect on the different candidates and the strengths that each candidates carry, and then it can also help us to make that informed decision on who exactly do we think is best suited to lead this country. So I think that's just by and large what I would, my
Thank you.
my
Thank you very
observation.
much. I can see you utilized 1 minute and 40 seconds. Thank you.
I'll give my 20 seconds to Council.
Yes, Council agree. I mean, sorry, Wanda.
Thank you so much, Eki. Good evening.
Good
to
evening.
everyone.
Yes.
One, I give flowers to those 5 candidates who turned up for the presidential debate. They actually indicate that they are subjective to civilian authority, because when you're invited and you attend, that shows that you're ready to serve. I want to believe that they all had urgent things to attend to, but they had spare time so that they can actually tell the Ugandans who are not in position to attend their rallies what they intend to do for this country. Of course, others did come, gave several reasons, and I think the incumbent indicated that after harmonizing the campaign program, this debate wasn't part of it, and therefore they could not attend. And I think that evening he was on another station trying to talk to the Gen Zs about technology, and that's why I think he rubbished Facebook and its owners, indicating that they thought they are strong enough, but I've shown them who I am. It still tells us the kind of leaders we have in this country, where he himself posts things on Facebook, and then he still thinks that Facebook is banned. But of course, those who cannot navigate around it and use it, of course, they are losing. We know many young people can only market their services and products on social media. But to me, by and large, it was a good debate, and it reflects in their manifestos.
Yes.
We really see what they have for this country. And if all of them, whoever takes the day after the 15th of January, can combine what everyone else has in their manifesto, then we would have a better Uganda, and if such is implemented. Yeah, that's my take on the presidential debate. But I think we shall have another one.
We hope we can have another one.
At least Nation Media Group
Yes.
say that they will have another one in January.
Yeah.
And
we hope that all can attend.
All the 8 can attend.
Yes.
Yes.
It will be an interesting one. We'll have to see how that turns out. Mr. Charles Romoshana, 2 minutes. Your thoughts on the presidential?
You didn't tell him about 2 minutes.
He actually used her 20 seconds, and then now he's used 2 and 10 minutes. 2 seconds, sorry. 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Carry forward the balance.
The balance to Charles.
The great question of the day shall not be resolved by speeches and resolutions of the majority, but by blood and iron. That was Bismarck on the unification of Germany. that applies here. That the great question of the day, Project Uganda, shall not be resolved by the speeches and resolutions of the majority, but by blood and iron.
That's quite a statement. Wow. And that concludes it. You can interpret. You can interpret. Thank you very much, Charles, for being brief. But that statement is a very power-packed statement if you unpack it. And yeah, I hope you have descended and broken it down in your own ways and thoughts. He's done.
He's done with
He's
this.
done. You're in shock. Thank you.
All right.
To call you.
But today we look at the state of media freedoms, rights and freedoms as we head towards the 2026 election. And I'd like to start with Judith, who is the lady in studio, but also in the field of media. And just from your own perspective and from your own thoughts, could you describe the media environment we are in today as Uganda heads into the 2026 elections?
Thank you, Paul, again. I think one thing that is very clear is that the Ugandan media is operating in a very constrained environment, okay? If you've read all reports, including local reports and global reports, let's start with the reports from the Human Rights Network for Journalists, which was released, I think, sometime early this year, around May. It actually details the constraints, the challenges, all forms of aggression and brutality that journalists are subjected to in this environment.
Yeah.
When you read global reports like Freedom House, you can clearly also see the breakdown of how we are performing when it comes to media freedom. We are not doing so well. I think we score around 34 or so out of 100. When you go to other reports like, say, Civicus Monitor, which basically monitors the civic space in countries, and media is part of that civic space. Again, it shows that our civic space is regressed, okay? It's regressed or repressed. So again, you see at every stage, these reports basically amplify what any other report is saying, and it just shows you the level of constraints with which our media, our brothers and sisters in the press are operating. I'll just take you back to Feb, March, Kawempe North, okay? I don't think there has been a time that the press in Uganda was actually was greeted with the level of brutality that we saw just months ago. And ask any analyst or observer, everyone tells you Kawempe North was just a dressing rehearsal for what is to come. And it gives you a lot of fear, of course, as we're 45 days away from the general election.
Yes.
it gives you a lot of fear. And I know the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Honorable Norbert Mao, was very clear when he said, oh, this is going to be a very calm election, okay? But how you interpret calm, I think varies. Okay?
Was it calm or quiet?
Quiet, yeah, but calmness and quietness, basically, these are synonymous, more or less. So here we are seeing all these kinds of atrocities. I would like to put it in a better way, for want of a better word. You see all these kinds of abuses meted out against journalists. If, for example, you're a journalist and you are caught up covering a rally of Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu, the NUP candidate, and a scuffle ensues, or like what we saw in Iganga, Chira, Kawempe recently, you are certainly going to be caught up in that fracas, okay? At that point in time, it doesn't matter whether you're a journalist or not. You are just on the receiving end of fire, of tear gas, and so on. So it makes the space and environment really constraining, really difficult to work in. And I look at the journalists who are in the front lines every time. The kind of courage these young men and women have to actually ensure that we sit in our rooms, in the comforts of our living rooms, and watch TV.
Yes, yes.
It is something that is really admirable. It's not the kind of courage a lot of people have. And it's something really commendable, because without them, we cannot access these truths. We cannot see these raw footages coming in, showing us how civilians engaged in a civic process are being treated like, worse than animals. Okay? So the space is just very, very dangerous. It's constrained, and it is hazardous for the media right now.
Wow. And that's a huge step. And in line with that, though, I'm wondering, are there things that we could have learned in 2021, the general elections, that maybe could be done different, or that are different today, or it's still the same from what you saw?
Are you saying, are there things the press could have learned from 2021?
Yes, the press.
I think the press does not operate within a vacuum. The press, there's a law that provides for the press to actually act and participate in civic processes. The press is not an enemy of anyone. The press is simply doing their job of telling you what is happening in society, of bringing these stories to our homes, to our radios. So what is their crime? I don't think there's anything really that the press should do differently. They are not the ones carrying the guns and going to fire bullets. They are not the ones who are using the military might to actually attack civilians. They are simply doing their job. So what other different thing are they supposed to do apart from doing their job?
I think in the last election, from the cartoon that one Jim Spire drew of the press, you have to be dressed up like you're going for war.
Combat, yes, pretty much.
Yes, and thinking about that, I'll get to Councillor Samuel here. Who are the biggest, violators of, human rights, and when it comes to journalism or to the media?
Thank you so much. I see what Dr. Jimmy drew as a cartoon is the reality today. Because actually, I do not think journalists now easily go to particular rallies when they are not fully dressed. Starting from the head, the chest, but also even their nose, because the expectation of being shot at, being tear gassed, is as normal as it would be when someone goes to labor, that we expect them to come out with a baby. So it's the same that is happening. On the question of who is the biggest violator, the state has tried to take a lead.
It has tried. What's the state tried to take a lead?
Because they never take blame. They never accept that what they are doing is wrong. We have journalists, by their nature of dressing, they easily identify themselves as journalists.
Because you ought to, lest
Yes.
you get taken for years.
Yeah, but
Actually, that should be a protection.
that should be the first signal to the security agencies that, look, if your target is the politicians, we are not. We are an entity, we are a group of people who are here to relay what is happening to the citizens and the world at large. Do not aim at us. But when you look at most of the canisters, the tear gas that are thrown at this poll, it's targeting both the politicians and the journalists. And to me, if the state, the reasons they have been giving from the time the violence started is why we are doing this crowd management, dispersing the crowds, is because the politicians have failed to adhere to their agreed guidelines. Then to me, I think the security agency should first protect the fourth estate. Then
you deal with the politicians.
Then they can do what they think they are doing that is right.
Okay.
But you see, they target the journalists because what the journalists are showing to the public is not something that that the state wants to see.
Is that why in some instances they are viewed as a threat of sorts?
Yes,
you know?
they are viewed as a threat. And as we are looking at violence, let us not only look at the physical violence. We even now have a financial violence. We know a particular media house that cannot report the President of the Republic of Uganda and the Parliament.
They still have been banned.
Yes.
It's not been given the claim.
Yeah, so they have been banned. They cannot report from two arms of government. Now they can only report from the judiciary. I hope.
Of which the judiciary, we've also had instances where say media is not allowed.
Yes, I hope the Chief Justice does also wake up and ban that media house. But you can see.
But isn't it within their rights to say no? Yes.
Yeah, we have a right to privacy. Yes, the president would be right to ban them from his bedroom, but not them covering state functions, not them covering.
Because these are public.
Yes, not them covering the rallies he's doing now. We didn't see him banning them when he was going around the country in the first 3 years of this ending term, when he was visiting farmers with PDM and giving them 1 million shillings. But now why do you ban them when it comes to an issue of campaigns? Why do you ban them at this critical moment when the world is to see what more you're promising? As you're promising to protect gains, can we now see those gains where you're traversing the country?
Yes.
And you're campaigning? And also, you can't just give a blanket ban with actually no reason why you're banning. And previously he has said this is where he has described
yes.
Nation Media Group and with its entities in Uganda. They are looked at as enemies of the state. But if where he derives that mindset, if it's in their headline or it's their tagline of truth every day, then definitely he doesn't want the truth to come out at all times. So to me, it's been the state and not only the police, but now we've seen it with the executive arm.
Yes.
We've seen it with the legislative arm, that they have contained and they have tried to push away the media. And of course, what has previously happened.
Yes.
I
was just thinking, since you're in the legal area, are there some loopholes that allow state actors to violate media rights? And maybe also for Judith, before I get to Charles, are there instances where the population itself is the one that is meting out violence on the media actors? Have there been instances like that? But then we'll start with the council.
There are no loopholes in the law. Actually, in Uganda, we pride to have some of the best laws in every field. The constitution is very clear. The the enabling laws are very clear on what someone is expected to do. The media have a regulator. You see it has its own guidelines and standards. And if someone has violated any, then there are also measures within which to punish such people. But what we have is the violence, the dictatorial tendencies are being pushed to all entities. We all remember when CBS was closed for quite some time. And what was its offense? Completely none. We've had situations where Red Paper has been cordoned off, Daily Mount and KFM have been cordoned off.
Yes.
So there is no one who can hide behind the law to violate other people's rights. Majority of the rights, even in our constitution, they're not absolute. But when you're limiting those rights, then it should be something that is justifiable in a fair and democratic society. Now, you cannot attack journalists or ban them from accessing particular premises to cover what is going on. And actually what is going on is public. I mean, Parliament is discussing public issues. Yesterday they were discussing budgets, supplementary budgets. These are public issues. So you can't ban a media house to come and cover such a public issue, and then you claim that
you are helping in the dissemination of information and all.
Yeah, and then you even tell them that no, you can get from UBC or you can get from the PPU. So there is a bigger challenge. Also, it goes to the non-respect of the existing legal regime by all state actors.
Wow, thank you. Just to let you know that the budget moved from 76 to 72, was it?
72 to 80 something.
80 point something, yeah. So
because they had 8.9 trillion.
Yeah. So you'll pay the taxes. We shall pay the taxes. Judy.
Yeah. So just it's just interesting when someone was talking about journalists being banned from covering Parliament, and that's the irony. That's a legislative house. The National Assembly, which makes the laws, and ideally should be the biggest guarantor in ensuring that these laws are actually enacted and upheld to protect everyone's freedoms, including the freedom of the press. So it is quite ironic. But to go back to the legal framework within the legal environment within which the media operates, true, the laws are good, but also there are loopholes that provide potential for abuse. So if you look at, for instance, the Computer Misuse Act, amended in 2022, so the provision of unauthorized access to data, that's a criminal matter, okay? But on the other hand, you have an Access to Information Act, which allows you to access information. But you try accessing information from a public office and look at the lengthy procedure, the process. I must also applaud institutions that I have approached and have given us or given me information within a very short time. Parliament, for example. If you go to the guys at the Hansard, they are so fast and so swift. I think there's a time I needed some information on the Constitution, the CA debates and so on. It didn't even take me a week. And when I walked in, it took me less than a minute to have that data retrieved, the digital copy. Debate. Everything.
You know you can give a phone call to Charles
every bit of it.
Everything.
No, Charles, no, but still you need the copies, okay? You need the copies. And I tried. I still have a pending conversation with Charles on that. He's giving me a long face, but he knows. We talked about it. So when you look at the unauthorized access to data, okay, how does it affect journalists? If you're an investigative journalist, for example, you want to access data, and you have this information for public good, okay, this can easily be weaponized against you, okay? So yes, the law is there, but to what extent does it actually advance journalism or hold it back? So those are issues that you need to, that also, affect, like they say, the law gives on one hand and takes away with the other. On the other side, there's also publishing unsolicited offensive information or hate speech. That's the amended version 2022. But then you don't know what offensive information is not unpacked
not
for you.
broken down.
Hate speech is not broken for you. So these are all loopholes that can be used. Someone can interpret and say, no, this is hate speech. How do you define hate speech? What are the ingredients of it? What makes hate speech? Okay? So again, what is the effect of this? A lot of times people are going into self-censorship, okay, because they are afraid. And that is not healthy for a democracy that is growing. And then, and that, of course, that censorship is both offline and online.
Yes.
You go to provisions of, say, other legal provisions like the Anti-Terrorism Act, the publication and dissemination of materials that promote terrorism, okay? That's criminal. But what are those things? Promoting terrorism, how do you define? How do you define promoting terrorism? If, for example, I have an interview with somebody who is considered, you know, someone, exactly, an exclusive interview. How are you going to tell me I am promoting terrorism? At what point am I promoting terrorism or not? These ambiguities are there, and they still hold journalism back. Interception of communications, okay? You remember last year when journalist Ivan Okuda went to visit Dr. Kizza Besigye, when Besigye had just been taken to Luzera, okay, with Haj Obeid. And then he had this conversation with the Lord Mayor, and then days later, Afande Chris Magezi goes on Twitter, on X, and just publishes it. So what message are they sending? That, look, we are eavesdropping on your conversations, we can access whatever it is you're saying. That creates an environment of fear. So if I'm going to have such a personal conversation with somebody, and then, exactly, okay? So again, this is just to hurt journalism and create dissent. Public order management. Yes. Unlawful assembly, okay? That's always the provision. They're always hiding behind unlawful assembly. Now, you're covering a NUP rally, and at some point in time, they'll tell you, this is an unlawful gathering. Well, we are in a campaign season now, so that might not apply. But again, you can't be so sure.
After 6 p.m. it applies.
So this is an unlawful assembly. Now, you are a journalist held up in this rally. You can easily be grabbed for participating in an unlawful gathering. Okay? So again, you have all these legal frameworks and so on, but the ambiguity, the lack of breakdowns and definitions of some of these clauses actually cause problems for the media.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Judy, thank you very much for pointing those out, and they are quite pertinent to our conversation. But I'll get to Charles right now. Charles, you've listened to all that Judith and Council Wanda has said, but I'd also like to, for you to put more light or shine more light on the intimidation of, is intimidation a deliberate political strategy to control the narrative that is out there? Or is it basically a situation of collateral damage, really, and from the state?
Okay, let me also initially behave like those people who are in the debate.
Yes, sir. How?
Who are in which debate? You're in a debate here. So which other one?
The other debate you didn't watch fully.
And you didn't even watch it completely.
Charles, you're protected. Go ahead.
This and this.
Charles,
so you also behave like them and answer different questions. Borders. They have increasingly become reckless and are taking innocent lives. There are a lot of stuff that is not reported, but borders are becoming a silent killer. It's like there is a factory somewhere that manufactures reckless, indisciplined people, and they are deployed in that industry. It's too much. The National Resistance Army, occupational Nakba, seized the state in 1986.
Charles, why are you using the word occupation al-Nakba? Why?
It seized the state in 1986 and made a program they themselves made a program, their own program, to return power back to the to Ugandans. Initially it was 4 years, and it came to 1995. So the constitution you're talking about was an instrument to facilitate the return of power, one,
to the population,
and the relationship between the population and the state. So we now go to the critical chapter, which is chapter 1, the transfer of power. So yes, it's now proclaimed power belongs to the people. Of course, even before it belonged to the people, it was usurped. Because the National Resistance Army did not usurp that power from the vacuum.
It took it from the people.
It took it from some power. Whether that power had also taken it from the people is a different issue. But, so you now have power back to the people. Now in the same document we say, but these people can return that power, can transfer that power to the state. You get, in other words, that they will use their power in relation, in accordance with this constitution.
Yes.
So even if power had been returned, which was not, because I don't believe there was return of power back to the people, I don't believe it. But even if it had been returned, it had been returned with the condition that they would exercise, that the population would exercise it in accordance
with the constitution.
With the constitution. So now then you go to the element of what you call rights. First and foremost, some of the rights simply transferred from the document, the UN document.
The Declaration on Human Rights.
Yes, I should say universal.
The universal, yeah.
That universal document.
Yes.
But then the others are born out of our own experience. Like I was seated with Kachama, the late Kachama, Mayanja Kachama. He was saying the writ of habeas corpus is inviolable. He was very passionate. I always say I was ambushed because I had never heard of those statements in my schooling. So I had to consult very quickly what they meant and then take a decision, because I was supposed to take a decision.
That was in 1995, around the CA.
Yes. And remember, I was a graduate.
You were the youngest in the house at that time.
I was a graduate. But so how about those who were senior 4 or equivalent or some few additions, sewing machines, etc. In other words, it was a daunting task, more especially on these rights, that one, you have to understand very quickly what it is, and then take a decision. But what I witnessed was that those who suffered detention without trial, those who went through those experiences were very passionate. But what is the central theme in this? The central theme in this is that you who has given your power to the state,
yes,
how do you relate with the state? So, therefore, these provisions are meant to limit the other power of the state, because you've given away your power, you the individual.
Yes.
So some rights relate to liberty, other rights relate to assembly, others relate to association, others relate to life, etc. Now then we come to, so you've seen the background now.
Yes, yes.
The background of the right, what you call the right. That if it is alleged, because you've given power to police to detect and prevent crime. So police can come and take away your right to liberty.
In the name of preventing
Absolutely.
crime?
It's because you've given it. You've given that authority to police, that power to police. Now, then how would you regulate that power, given our history? So you say, okay, within 48 hours, you should be done with your investigations. The person should appear before, but before you appear as a court, there should be a third arbiter to confirm that indeed it's not abuse of power and is independent, and that is the DPP. And you should have the right to bail.
Yes.
depending on where you are tried, cases before magistrates, cases before, cases only triable by High Court. I think that's why you have 6 months to have a right to bail automatically. Now, so you see, it's about limiting the other authority, the other power over you. Who has given it power? You surrendered your power to police as an authority, but so how would you relate? So we now restrict the other power. Yes, but what is the background? It's in relation to power relations. Now, I have a background of chaos.
You can be a chaotic man if you choose to.
Yes, I shouldn't say I'm an expert, but
everything about you, by the reads chaos.
But I'm fairly knowledgeable on causing trouble. It's not as I'm restrained, but certain things would be right.
Whoever was at the university during your time,
things
even
would be
in
done
high school.
right.
Yes,
So
yes, please.
now I've come to study, I've come to learn in that industry that if you're going to do mass uprising against evil,
where evil is?
Wickedness. The assault on my freedom, because I'm an anarchist. I don't believe I should be controlled by anybody on earth. You know, my only controller is my God.
Is your God.
And the laws are made, so you control me now as who. So me, I'm an anarchist. Absolute freedom. So if I'm going to do an uprising, there are pillars that are very critical, and I will mention part of one of them, only one.
Yes.
Mass mobilization and mass education.
Mass mobilization
And mass education. So mass education, mass mobilization.
Yes.
Then of course you have organization.
Yes.
Then you swing into an uprising. Of course the rest are now skills. We use of violence, the tools to use.
Depending on which one you choose to use.
Absolutely. I don't believe in peaceful uprisings, you know. I believe in violence. So now in that pillar you need in that pillar you need a medium, you need a tool, and the tool is media.
Okay.
So I thought I should give you that as an experience, that terminal, for you to understand the dilemma media faces. Okay. So if Charles Romshana, the trouble causer to the state, all those who have authority, all those who are the oppressors, want to use the media. The state also wants to use the media in countering me.
Yes. Isn't that what we say?
Yes. So I would want to use the media in mass education and mass mobilization. The state would also want to use the media in counter-insurgency operations, in case I was to graduate an insurgent.
Yes.
Now, so it depends on how you operate. If you are on the side of the insurgent and you're promoting the insurgent, you are an enemy of the state.
Okay.
If you are promoting the state as against the insurgent, the non-state actor, because the insurgent, the non-state actor, you are the enemy. So,
and the state determines who is an insurgent.
It's already established. It's already established. I've used my example to establish that. So me, who is causing trouble, who is fighting for my freedom to generate an uprising, I need the media for mass mobilization and information and education. The state needs the media to counter me, right? So if you are on the side of the state in countering me, I consider you an enemy. And yet I am a non-state actor.
Okay, I get you.
If you are on the side of the insurgent or the one in the uprising, the state considers you an enemy, right? So now for the only security the media would have then is being professional, being neutral.
And how possible is that?
I don't know. I'm saying the only security.
Sorry, Charles. No, maybe I first let you finish. Is it okay for me to come to say something before you finish?
Oh, you think where I can say no? how can I spoil my evening?
So thank you.
Can you do that in 2 minutes? We go into a break and then we'll come with
So I find it quite disturbing and really contradictory to hear this coming from Charles, because when I was hearing him speak, I asked myself, why did we then return to a multi-party dispensation in 2005? Okay? If we knew very well that opening up the space to pluralism would actually make your government, the NRA that you've served so much over the years, look at...
That's the weakness of Ugandan.
Sorry.
Because I was looking at the issue.
It is the issue. The issue is... let me retract.
Wait,
let me retract. Okay? Let me retract. Why then would we go to a multi-party dispensation when we are looking at other actors other than the ruling party as... What was the word he used? He used the word insurgents? Like they use the word insurgents or the enemies. Yes. Why then because it's really self-defeating. Why you open up the space and then you're looking at the other entities as insurgents as your enemies? Why?
Now you see there is what we call self-deception.
Charles, can I just pause it there at self-deception, and we'll take it from there just right after these messages, and then we'll have more of our conversation. This is Spirit TV, and this is The Truth, Lies, and Politics. Leave your comment in our spaces, that is on X, formerly Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube at Spirit TV UG. Would love to hear from you. Otherwise, we take a short commercial break, and we'll be back.
Truth, the lies, and politics. Informative, educative, and analytical. Getting to the real issues that affect an ordinary individual in areas of leadership, governance, social, and economy. The truth, the lies, and politics